where we are getting ready to dive into the spiritual science of affirmative prayer, the spiritual technology of allowing ourselves to really open to benevolent satiation and divine fulfillment. What does that mean? It means that these are the energies that are constantly exuding themselves, expressing themselves in the universe. The universe is always expressing itself as good, as bliss, as grace, as beauty, and there is this energy of benevolent satiation and divine fulfillment, and it wants to marry and merge itself with your truest desires. It does help when you know what your truest desires are, but you don't need to know what they are, because there is a divine impulse within you that is always seeking to rise up. Your soul star, your soul energy comes down into your heart then rises it up into your awareness. Should you not have anything within your subconscious that would cloud that. So good morning, welcome. We are here to decloud. We are here to cleanse and purify. We're here to rise into a greater and grander experience of who we truly are than ever before. And sometimes, if anybody, first of all, I have to back up a little bit. Sometimes there's been this misnomer out there that shows up in two ways. It shows up as, I guess it wasn't meant to be, or it shows up as, oh, the prayer never got answered. And first of all, so there is no such thing as it's not meant to be. The only thing that is not meant to be is bad experiences. Those aren't really meant to be because that's not part of the divine plan, and that's not part of the divine inertia that pulls you into your magnificence. Divine inertia is pulling you into greatness, and when you say yes to your greatness, then you get that serendipitous, blissful, joyous, synchronistic magnificence in your life. And so when we're praying, in the beginning stages of prayer, like we've talked about over the months, oftentimes we use it as our piece of our practice before it becomes a way of life. Because it is a way of life. When you're in the prayer field ceaselessly, you're just in that serendipitous flow, that synchronistic flow on a regular basis. So sometimes we have what's called the prayer within the prayer. If you're not yielding the result that you're looking for, then you have to take a step back. As I have often used the analogy, sometimes our prayer request is what we use and we push on the gas pedal with our prayer request. But our resistance to it is where we're stepping on the brake. And so if we're going to back up a moment and we're going to release the resistance so that we can have the answer to the prayer, which is where the misnomer of I guess it's not meant to be comes from. If your desire is congruent, if your yearnings are congruent with your soul's desire, it's meant to be. And if something doesn't come into fruition, that means that there is resistance. And so we want to relinquish that resistance. We sometimes call that the intention. Before the intention, the prayer within the prayer. And so you just have to learn how to put yourself in reverse sometimes. You got to back up and you got to do a little deeper work. If it was as easy as everybody just proclaiming what they desire, which when you have no resistance, it is that easy. When you have no resistance, when you have no issues in your tissues, when you are free of column B, like we were talking about yesterday, free of column B, then it is as easy as the desire shows up and the satiation follows, and oftentimes the answered prayer happens before you were even aware that you would even pray for it. That's when prayer is a way of life and not a practice that is simply trying to get you as a ways to a means. We're allowing ourselves to, or ways to an ends. We're allowing ourselves to get to a place where we are evolving. And so if there's anything where you feel like, oh gosh, why isn't this coming into fruition? Well, then we want to back up. We want to put it in reverse and find out, is there any resistance? And then we will allow ourselves to utilize prayer for that. That's where the law of transmutation comes in. The law of transmutation allows us to heal resistance. And so we want to open into a greater and grander experience of that. And if things, this is the paradox, I will tell you, the universe is wrought with paradox. If you want to hurry up and have things go faster, you got to slow down. You got to slow down if you want things to hurry up, but it has to be sincere. You got to slow down. You got to have patience. Patience is one of the main ingredients of faith. Faith is brimming with patience because patience knows it's happening. Impatience is doubt. It means it's not happening. That's the brake pedal. We want to pull off. So I will tell you, as a recovering impatient-aholic, patience is so delicious. It is so delicious. It is so good to be patient. So good morning. Good to see you, Susan and David and Florence and Kathy and Lauren and Shanae and Patricia. Good to see you all streaming in. People coming in. Aloha to those of you in Kauai, in Hawaii, and welcome to a couple of you I see in Ireland. So good evening there, and good morning here, and good afternoon wherever you are in your time zone. I'm Reverend Keith. I'm welcoming you again to our SoulCenter. SoulCenter, we are an Agape affiliate, and we are a spiritual community in Newport Beach that is saying yes to communing with Spirit, yes to truth, yes to joy, yes to fun, but fun not from the false wants of the ego, not from the lowercase p pleasures of the carnal realm, but to the capital D desires of the soul. That type of fun is there's just nothing better. So I'm just wanting to welcome you, those of you coming in on Facebook and Zoom. Welcome. You can always Zoom in if you want to. You can find that information on my Facebook page. So anyway, I just wanted to welcome you, and we're going to again remember that there's no such thing as that's not meant to be. Whatever the truest, purest desires of your soul are, it's meant to be, or you wouldn't have that desire. Our job is to discern that desire, and our job is to cleanse any resistance, and to also remember we cleanse false positives. And false positives are when we get pulled off because we think that something that we want is the same as something we desire. And those aren't always the case. Sometimes they match up. So good morning. Good to see you, Leslie. Welcome. Hope and everyone else, welcome. We're getting ready to dive in, and the universe is very efficient. It is the most efficient experience you'll ever have, and it's efficient that if you don't know, then you use the prayer of inquiry and you ask. One of the most powerful prayers is to say either use me or show me. Show me what I need to know. Show me how I need to grow. Those are two questions you always want to ask. What do I need to know, and how do I need to grow? Because what I need to know might have some resistance from my trauma body or my subconscious, and that's how do I need to grow? Because tell you and allow what you need to know to fulfill, and what you need to know is synonymous with the experience. We're talking about knowingness, not intellectual understanding. Intellectual understanding of spiritual principle without the embodiment or the knowingness can leave you very frustrated. And we don't want that. We want a knowingness, we want an embodiment, so we can include that in our prayer request today. That I am willing to know the absolute truth as a knowingness and as an embodiment in my physical, emotional, mental bodies right here, right now. And with that being said, you know your marching orders. If you're joining for the first time, I'm Reverend Keith, and this is our daily affirmative prayer where we use prayer to satiate, to be fulfilled in benevolent, brilliant, elegant, beautiful, glorious ways. So anything that requires healing that you're aware of, and anything that you aren't aware of, if you haven't received the answered prayer, then we're going to put it in reverse. We're going to back up. We're going to put in that prayer within the prayer, and then we're going to put it back and forward and keep on trucking. All right, and then there's that which is through the law of creation, that which your soul is seeking to experience and to express. There's always something seeking through the radiant energy of your soul to rise up and express itself. So we're going to move into that field, And we're going to get rocking and rolling right now. So if you are welcome, or if you are feeling like closing your eyes, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes as we tune and turn within. We take a moment and we just relax. We know that as we relax, as we invite, evoke, and allow the energies of peace and grace, beauty and love, and as we open into a field of gratitude, knowing that at any moment of any day, at any time, we can just stop. We can just stop. We tune and turn within, and we open our hearts, our bodies, our minds, our souls to the infinite grace, the infinite beauty, the delicious light of holy, infinite, unconditional love. And we allow ourselves to be so infused, overwhelmed with this energy. You begin to feel it rising up from within you because it is who you are. You begin to feel it washing over you because it's everywhere. The omnipresence and the omnipotence of God, of life, of good, of bliss, of grace, of joy is everywhere. And that which we call the Creator or the universe, or whether we call it Adonai, or whether we call it Jehovah or Yahweh, Allah, or God, this is synonymous with bliss and beauty and peace and love. And so we open to that, and we know that in God all things are made new. And when we pray, we return to the beginning that has nothing to do with time and space. The beginning is the eternal. We open to that. Feel eternality. Feel bliss in your heart. Allow bliss to shine and glow itself from your heart. Allow bliss to shine and glow itself in your toes and in your ankles and in your knees, in all your muscles, organs, in all your bones and ligaments, joints and tissues. Allow that fulgent light to rise up from within you, and you begin to feel the mergence and the convergence, where the inner light and the outer light merge into the oneness of who you truly are. And we remember the truth that each and every one of us, we make this very personal, very personal. The only thing we make personal is our oneness with God. We allow ourselves to and love ourselves as God knows, loves, and sees us. We choose to know that so profoundly. We use the prayer of inquiry and we ask, show me everywhere I look, everything I hear, everything I do, how I am one with God. We ask to be shown and known. We choose to have a knowingness of this that is not only intellectual, but it is embedded in our bones. We feel that knowingness. For the omniscience of God, the wisdom that governs, also omnipresent. There's an omniscience in your toes. There's an omniscience in your knees. We know through science that the organs all have a brain. There's a wisdom within your organs. The heart has a brain that tells it what to do, how to operate as a heart organ. The liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, they all have brains within them that allow them to have an intellectual wisdom. And so we open to that omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniamorous light that is everywhere. We move beyond the superficial, we move beyond the temporal, and we open to the eternal. And we allow ourselves to breathe the holy breath, the breath of light, the breath of beauty. We open our hearts, our bodies, our minds, our souls even more. And as we remember the truth of who we are, we allow ourselves to remember the truth of everything and everyone. For there is nothing outside of the divine. There is nothing outside of the perfect blueprint. And there is a perfect blueprint that undergirds every life. There's a perfect blueprint of every tree, of every flower, of every droplet of water, of every bone, cell, organ, and tissue. That perfect blueprint never goes anywhere. The law of creation stipulates that a perfect blueprint descends down from the very mind of God. It makes itself into the material world, and it never goes anywhere. And whenever there is the illusion of corruption as a disjoint, or if there is dishonor, disrespect, or disease, if there is any of those, we know that the perfect blueprint is still there. It never goes anywhere. It is eternal. So we awaken and open and return home to this right now. The perfect blueprint of every relationship, The perfect blueprint of being in the world but not of the world resides right where we are. We are the omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniamorous nature of God. This is what it means to be born in the image and likeness of the divine. And so we say yes to returning home right here, to anchoring it, to feeling that effulgent light, that radiant magnificence shining through our cells. And we choose this day, even more than ever before, to be resplendent, absolutely resplendent and exquisite, that we surrender everything. We surrender our entire beingness, and we relinquish any resistance, any unforgiveness, any erroneous ideas or beliefs or judgments about anything or anyone. We allow the laws of redemption, of transmutation, of forgiveness to purify and cleanse. And we ask right now to have divine right perception about everything, to have divine right perception about the call of our soul, the desires of the soul. We have to say yes to having divine right perception about every relationship, that I may only and always see everyone in their divine nature, and that I call it from them. We move into sacred relationships, a sacred relationship with yourself, that you know yourself and see yourself and love yourself as the divine. Sacred relationships with friends and family members, that you see, know, and love them as God sees, knows, and loves them. Remembering we are never condoning bad behavior. We are evoking good behavior. We are evoking radiant light. We are evoking it. We use the prayer of invitation, inviting people. People love a good invitation, and so we invite people into their magnificence. This is how you transcend the temporal world. You invite everything and everyone into the perfect blueprint of who they are. And when people live from their perfect blueprint, all is in harmony, all is reverent, all is respectful. But we must let go. We must let go of the temporal ties to the past. We must let go of the temporal projections to the future. We must let go of the tethers to even the present that have any erroneous information coded in it. And we must open to the eternal perception of brilliance and goodness always. And so I'm grateful to know that each and every one of us comes coded and loaded, that we are saying yes to living, that these and greater things we shall do. We shall do it now, not tomorrow. We choose today. We bring the eternal into time and space, that we may live in that eternal moment, day by day, moment by moment. We say yes. We allow time to expand. We allow our lives to expand. And we choose right now to increase our capacities to hold more good, more love, more peace, more joy. We stretch. We move beyond the highest high of ever-expanding good in our lives. We allow this evolution of the human experience to keep us, rise us, expand us in benevolent and beautiful ways, for the universe only operates in benevolent, harmonious, eloquent, exquisite, resplendent ways. And so we open to that. We allow ourselves to participate in this right now. And so I'm grateful as we stand in a divine strength, as you feel that energy in your feet, in the arches of your feet, in the balls of your feet, in the heels and the ankles, in your calves and shins, in your thighs and hamstrings, as you feel divine strength, optimism, and faith in your legs and your hips and your torso, as you feel divine expectancy, as we open to feel the enthusiasm of the soul as it radiates in the heart, and as we allow that radiant, resplendent light of that which your soul is seeking to experience and express to flood the heart and inform the mind, we become a house united within our own beingness. We become on the same page within our own beingness, and we know that as we are a house united within our own beingness, we become a house united in our body of affairs. That our body of affairs must be a house relationships, every single one. There's not one relationship that gets left behind or out of the mix from any dimension of any incarnation of any moment. So we allow all family members, all friends, we invite them into the perfect blueprint of harmonizing good, mutual beneficial reverence, kindness, love, and respect. Goodness and generosity. We invite them into this. We vibrate at yes. Yes, I receive your good. Yes, I receive your kindness. Yes, I receive your generosity. Yes, I receive your respect and your reverence. Yes, I receive your good. We say yes to this. Seek and ye shall find. This is how we seek and find. By inviting it, we invite our good. We invite prosperity. We invite kindness. We invite cooperation, for cooperation undergirds all life. There is no life without cooperation. And so we see the breakdown from non-cooperation, and we see the healing with cooperation. And so I'm grateful. As organs cooperate, you see the rejoicing, resplendent wellness in your body temple. We see it in our physical, emotional, mental bodies, and we say yes to blessing our family members and friends right where they are. God is. And if there's anyone out there, anyone at all, where we've ever had a bad experience, we purify and cleanse it. If there's anybody we have judgment on, somebody you know or don't know, whether you've seen them in the news or on social media or on the road or in the market, we bless them right here, right now. We call them into their divine nature. There is nothing against anyone, whether it's a politician or a law enforcement official. We invite everyone into integrity with universal truth, universal law, universal good. We bless everything and everyone all the time. This is our job. We are to be the givers and the receivers of good. We are the bestowers and the bestowees of good. We rejoice in that. We move back into the behoove groove once again. It behooves us to groove in the holy light. And so I'm grateful to speak this word, knowing that each of us is saying yes. Each of us is saying yes to a greater and grander, more profound experience. We allow ourselves to completely comply and yield, surrender to our bliss. We open to that. And I'm grateful to know that there is no limit, there are no bounds in every dimension of every incarnation with all sentient beings. And so we bless our beautiful Mother Earth and all of its creatures, all of the animals, the insects, the birds, the fish. We bless the oceans, the mountains, the streams, the rivers. We bless everything. And we see it as new. We see it as fresh. We see the perfect blueprint. And we see that there is a world, the perfect blueprint, where there is no racism, no classism, no genderism, no poverty. There is no illness. We open to that world. We must seek it and find it. This is how we anchor heaven on earth. This is how we do it. And so I'm grateful to speak this word on behalf of all of us. We are not doing it in an airy-fairy fashion. We are doing it in the absolute tried and true with sincere faith, optimism, in the mystical teachings. We say yes. We say yes to anchoring it in our bones and our cells and our tissues. We start at home. Home is where you are. God is where you are. We are one with this. And so I'm grateful to again follow the law of creation as we feel those energies, those eternal energies, gushing, pouring, washing down from the heavens over and through your energy field, coming down through the top of your energy field at your soul star, traveling through your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your sacrum, your root, down to your 10th chakra, your earth star, where we ground. We see ourselves standing on sacred, holy ground. We ground peace, love, grace, beauty, wellness, prosperity, joy, heaven on earth through us. We ground cooperation. We ground goodness. We ground the truth that sets us free. We ground divine right perception. We ground it all. Feeling it, make sure you feel it all the way down through your feet to your earth star and the fertile soil of the material world. We ground it, we proclaim it, and we allow it to be right here, right now. We ground it so, we claim it so, we allow it to be so, benevolently, brilliantly, elegantly, immediately, immaculately, by saying in acceptance, with deep and abiding appreciation, and so it is, and so I let it be. Amen, Amen, Amin, Ashe, Aho, Shalom, Mahalo, Hotep, and Hallelujah. And as you come back, I'm going to invite you to just push the energy, wiggle your feet, push it down into your heels, balls of your feet. Just push the energy. Ground it, ground it, ground it. Integrate the energy. And as we integrate that energy, I'm just grateful to be with all of you And for all of you Soul Center people, we're having our graduation. Our first class of 2020 prayer chaplains is graduating this Sunday at 1 p.m. So that information can be found on the Soul Center site for those of you who want to attend the graduation ceremony, our first class. We're so grateful for this, and grateful for you, of course. We're here Monday through Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. And remember, Sunday we fall back for those of us. I know you in Hawaii and Arizona are staying, your clocks stay the same. But the rest of us, we are going to fall back an hour. So don't forget, that's this Sunday. And so for you in Hawaii, Patrick, you'll be able to catch us. We'll be a little closer in time zone. Have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed rest of your day. And we will see you either tomorrow or perhaps Sunday at our Soul Center service. Peace and blessings. Namaste.